So we actually got that done. And
Right.
so the governor set this up so that for this case of people that those overpayment will be a loan. Now, the way the loans would be paid back, if somebody gets a job at $10 an hour and one guy gets a job at $20 an hour, the $10 an hour person will pay his money back slower than the fellow who's $20 an hour.
Okay.
And again, there's no interest payments, and I want to make sure that there was no interest payments with administrative error. It shouldn't be any interest payment. They didn't screw it up, the
Right.
VEC. So what, in this case, the governor, through executive order for the Yorktown people, got that done.
Okay.
Now, my fear was, what happens next time in some other
My
part of the
next
state
question, yeah.
when Virginia Employment Commission screws up and somebody didn't think about this? So I put a bill in to make that law.
Okay,
And what we
right.
did is just, it passed both houses, and people, when I told them the story, you could see everybody sitting there shaking their head thinking,
Right.
why in the world would they allow this to happen?
Good to have something on the books just in case it does
Yeah.
happen again in other parts of the state.
And,
other
and a lot of time, it's called codifying what has already happened. So, so it's the governor will sign it; it will become law July 1. So, if you see anybody else who is in that situation, let me know, and we'll see if we can help them. But again, as of July 1, it is a law.
And that's a good point. You say, let me know. Your offices are always open. You've got your hours of operation. You've got your website that people can call, contact you, and express concerns or anything that they would like to discuss with you.
Exactly the case about this Yorktown cabinet, I would have not known that unless somebody picked the phone up and told me the whole situation.
Right.
And so, one person called, and then we got about 3 people called, and now about 50 people called us and told us the situation. And they're still calling us. So the Virginia Employment Commission is still having a little bit of snafus with them. So, but again, if you have a problem with the state agency, please call us, and we can try to help you through the process.
And you do have a local office here in
Yeah.
Danville, is that correct?
Yes, that's right. It's the phone number 797-5861. Call us anytime. That's what my job's about.
Very good. Now, Danny, another House Bill 543 that you patroned was dealing with prisoners in highway maintenance. That's something that we do here in the city of Danville with our adult detention workers, saving taxpayers a lot of money with their ability to go out and assist us with litter pickup and things of that nature. And something here that worked in with this bill.
Well, last summer, if you traveled the state, you noticed that the grass in the medium strips was knee-high to even higher. And so, I talked to VDOT about that, and he says, we don't have the money to cut the grass. And so a citizen says, well, in the city of Danville, the prisoners cut the grass, so why don't we let state prisoners do that? And just for your viewers, I got some information from the city of Danville. It saves the taxpayers about $1.2 million. If we were not using those prisoners, the city of Danville's budget would have to be increased by another $1.2 million to go out and pay people to cut that. So the bill that I put in allows state prisoners to cut grass, do maintenance, litter pickup, and those type of things. And I think it's it's a worthwhile endeavor, so that we can again trying to make state government a little bit more efficient and use our taxpayer dollars a little bit more efficiently.
Every little bit counts.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And another dealt with, I think this was House Bill 538 that dealt with amber warning lights. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, actually, that was someone here in town, and what that's about is a local tow recovery guy, record truck. The current law says you can only have the amber lights on a record truck. So if a pickup truck is owned by the company, or a Tahoe Suburban, or something like that is there as a protection vehicle, they cannot have amber lights on. So the bill that I put in says that if the vehicle is owned by the company and is used at the site, they can have the amber lights. They can't have the amber lights on anywhere else, going to or from, but while they're there, just for a safety issue. So a local citizen called me and asked me to put that bill in, so it will be law July 1.
And great safety issue, as you mentioned, to have lights there, especially if it's another vehicle on the scene of an accident. Another dealing with Department of Motor Vehicles and identification cards, and people with medical issues, and when they go to making it easier for them when they go to the DMV.
Well, what happens now if, and most people don't know this, and I didn't know this until a couple of years ago. What what happens is if you go to a doctor and a doctor thinks that your eyesight's bad, or if you are not capable of driving a car safely, it doesn't just have to be a doctor, it can be a family member, and they think that you are not a safe driver out there, they can call DMV, and DMV can pull your driver's license. And so now that's already law.
Right.
So I didn't have anything to do with that. But what I wanted to do is try to fix it on the back end. So after the doctor or you have been proven that you are safe to drive, what you had to do is go through the whole process of proving that you were here legally. If you go to go get a driver's license, you never got one before, you have to prove legal precedence, that you are here legally.
Right.
And this all stems back from the 9/11 cases.
Right.
But so my whole point was, if you were legal beforehand, why aren't you still legal now after
Right.
this? And so, and what it did, DMV really liked the bill because it was really clogging them up.
I'm sure.
Because they were having to prove legal that you were here legally. So it just does that. If you were here legally before you lost your driver's license, then you're still legal after that.
Yeah, a little streamline in the process.
Yeah.
there.
And
Very
again, that was another bill from a constituent that called me
Very
up and
good.
said this was a problem, and so we delved into it, and now we
Addressed.
put a bill in. Again, July 1, it's law.
Absolutely great. Now, another House Bill 554 deals with group insurance policies and wellness programs,
Right.
and how they can receive a discount on their policies if they institute some wellness programs. And I know that is a top priority here in the city of Danville. With the Leadership Southside program
Right.
instituting, I think we've got 1,200 people in a wellness program now here in the city of Danville. So great to see this bill on the books.
Well, again, another constituent asked me to put this bill in, and what the bill does is under a group health insurance plan, if you have a certified wellness program in your company, then you can get a reduction in premium fees, so the company can actually save money. And so the whole idea about this is hopefully that this will encourage company XYZ to implement a wellness program, and a wellness program will have to be worked out between the company and the insurance provider. But once that's worked out, and they will have to check off to make sure that they're doing this, but then they can offer a discount, and really the sky's the limit.
You're right.
And so the wellness program can, helpfully lower that cost. But ultimately, what it's going to do is, if you have that wellness program, the employees are safer and healthier because of cholesterol, because of obesity, and on and on and on. And so it could actually lower the cost of health insurance.
Absolutely.
And so
it's gonna benefit the employer.
it's not a fix for everything, but it's a small fix, and that's usually how we do it. And again, that will become law July 1, and again, it was from a constituent. I had 25 bills this year, and all of them, but probably 4 or 5 were from constituents calling us
Great.
up.
Nice to see them involved. That's
Yeah,
great.
it
to
is
see.
good.
Great to see. Now, we've only got about 3 or 4 minutes left with you, Delegate, but I do want to touch on some hot topics now, especially in the news in just the last couple of days, and that would be offshore drilling. President
absolutely.
Obama signed and opened it up for offshore drilling off the coast of Virginia. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, that bill was first introduced, I guess it was, Governor Warner's campaign. It was administration that it passed House, passed the Senate, and, surprisingly, the Governor Warner at that time vetoed the bill. I serve on a commission called the Manufacturers Development Commission, and what we do is to try to help manufacturers stay in Virginia and recruit. And one of the things we looked at back, probably this was like 04, 05, is that we have a large amount of natural gas offshore. At least we think we do.
Right.
The moratorium, we can't even go out there and do an exploratory drill. They fly an airplane over and basically do a ultrasound test on it to see how much gas is there. So the bill that passed this year is that, again, this was Governor McDonald's initiative that passed House, passed the Senate, that's on his, that says that 80% of the royalties from offshore will go for transportation. The other 20% of that will go for biofuels research. Now, why that's important is the 80% will help roads all over the state of Virginia, but the 20% will help biofuels. And right here at the Institute, Tobacco Commission, we invested $8 million back in August of '08 for a biofuels research facility at the Institute. And we have the facility up at Gretna that's taking switchgrass and other products right now and actually turning that into diesel fuel and those type of products. So Southside Virginia is poised to be at the
definitely
forefront.
benefit from that.
And you know, Governor McDonald has said that he wants to make Virginia the energy capital of the East Coast. Well, I think we're going to be there, but I think then Southside Virginia, and especially Danville, Pittsylvania County, can be one of the bright stars here as far as alternate energy sources.
I'm looking forward to see that
I am
spectrum
too.
to grow.
Yeah.
That would be great for our region. We've only got a couple minutes left, but I do want to touch on redistricting as we move forward to next year. I know that with the new census numbers coming out, there will be some redistricting going on with our seats in the House and
That's
Senate
correct.
as well.
All right, just for your citizens, the people watching, the population at the last redistricting, I was first elected in '01, right after redistricting. The population of Virginia was 77.2 million, so there's 100 members in the House, so I started off with 72,000. We anticipate the state's numbers will be about 7.8, 7.9 million people, so that's 79,000 people. All right, so the problem is, I started off at 72. I think I'm at 68,000 right now.
Right.
So I'm going to have to go from 68,000 to about 78, 79,000 people. So Northern Virginia has had a lot of population increase. Now the Constitution says that we have to take the population, divide it by 100, and each House seat has to start off with that number of about 78,000 or so people. And Southside, Southwest Virginia will lose 2, maybe 3 seats to Northern Virginia. Now, if you look at Pittsylvania County currently, it's the largest county in the state of Virginia. We have 3 members in the House of Delegates, myself, Delegate Don Merricks, and Delegate Charles Poindexter, who has the northern part. Fairfax County, which is probably about land mass, is about a third the size of Pittsylvania County, currently has 14 members and probably will be closer to 16 members when after redistricting. So when the population numbers come back to us in '01, there will be a special session in next year that will look at the maps, and so all the maps, all the districts will be redrawn just to comply with that number of new population numbers.
And the reason that's so important is because of us having a voice in Richmond.
Yeah.
And as you can see, just the work that you've done in this session, how important it is that we have a district in Richmond representing Danville, Pittsylvania County, and our needs here in Southside Virginia. So we hope we don't lose too many voices in Richmond for
Well, it's
Southside
really timely
Virginia.
right now because the census numbers are really critical, and so I noticed that the citizens I've got already filled out my census information to send it back, and so I would encourage everyone to do so. It is very, very important to make sure that we have accurate numbers. It's not only important as far as the House of Delegates, as far as seats, but also the money that comes back to the localities from a state level or either from a federal level. So every person needs to be counted.
Absolutely. Well, Delegate Marshall, thank you so much for joining us today. If you would
Thank you.
like to ask Delegate Marshall any questions, the number at the bottom of the screen, give him a call. We'd be glad to hear from you. We thank you so much for taking the time out to join us
Mark,
today.
thank you so much, and please, to the citizens, if they have a question, please call me.
Great. And thank you at home for watching. Until next week, have a great day.